Charlotte vs. Jacy Chaos. WWE match breaks down. Lisbon match shock ending. Total breakdown in WWE. What went wrong? WWE Chaos. What really happened when Charlotte Flair stepped into that ring with Jacy Jayne, and why did everything suddenly feel like it was about to snap at any second? And more importantly, was that ending something planned, or did WWE just lose control of the moment in real time? Because if you watched this one live, you probably felt it too, that strange shift in the air when a match stops feeling like a match and starts feeling like something nobody fully controls anymore. So let's talk about it. The bell rings in Lisbon, and right away there's this energy that doesn't feel normal. You've got Charlotte Flair walking in like she owns the entire building, because honestly, most nights, she kind of does. That confidence, that slow walk, that stare like she's already solved the match before it even starts, it's familiar. It's almost comforting in a weird way. Like, yeah, Charlotte's here, things are about to get serious. But then you've got Jacy Jayne. And she doesn't look intimidated. Not even a little. That's the first red flag. Because in WWE, when someone doesn't react the way they're supposed to react, that's usually when things start to go off script emotionally, even if the match is still technically on track. The opening moments are fast, almost too fast. Collar and elbow tie up, quick reversal, Charlotte trying to assert control early like she always does. But Jacy keeps slipping out of it. Not just defending, countering. And every counter feels like it's saying, I'm not just here to survive you. And you can feel the crowd starting to lean forward a little. Not cheering louder yet, just leaning in. That quiet, okay, what's happening here, energy. Now here's the thing about Charlotte Flair matches, there's usually a rhythm. She dominates early, she tests you, she breaks your timing. But Jacy Jayne isn't playing that game. She's interrupting it. She's throwing Charlotte off her usual structure, and that's when you start seeing Charlotte do something she rarely does this early. She starts getting impatient. And if you know Charlotte matches, you know that impatience is dangerous. That's when things stop being clean. A quick chop from Charlotte echoes through the arena, that classic loud smack that always gets a reaction. The crowd owes like they're watching lightning hit. But Jacy just stares at her. No selling theatrics. No big reaction. Just that look. And honestly, that might have been the first real shift in the match. Because Charlotte hits her again. Harder this time. And Jacy still doesn't fold the way people expect. And you can almost imagine fans in the arena thinking, okay, she's either insane or this is about to get messy. Spoiler, it gets messy. Charlotte tries to pick up pace. Big boot attempt, Jacy ducks it. Charlotte hits the ropes, Jacy catches her mid-motion and suddenly turns the momentum. Not a full control shift yet, but enough to make Charlotte land awkwardly. And that's when Charlotte pauses for half a second. That tiny moment matters more than anything else so far. Because it's the first time she doesn't immediately reset. You know that little glance she gives? That okay, you're doing this now, expression? Yeah, that one. And the crowd feels it. Now the match starts speeding up in a way that doesn't feel planned anymore. It feels like two people reacting faster than they're thinking. Charlotte goes for a suplex, blocked. Jacy goes for a roll-up, kick out. Charlotte tries a corner attack, Jacy slips out and suddenly Charlotte hits the turnbuckle alone. And you hear the crowd react louder now. Not because of one big move, but because the structure is cracking. And once that structure cracks, everything becomes unpredictable. At ringside, the pacing spills out. Charlotte gets knocked near the ropes, and Jacy starts pushing the advantage like she's not afraid of what happens next. And that's important, because a lot of wrestlers hesitate when they get control over someone like Charlotte Flair. They second guess it. They slow down. Jacy doesn't slow down. And that's where you start thinking, okay, either she's having the match of her life, or this is going to end badly for someone. Back in the ring, Charlotte finally regains control the way she usually does, quick reversal, sharp offense, that veteran timing that feels like it resets everything around her. A knee strike, a snap suplex, and suddenly Jacy is the one on defense again. For a moment, it feels like normality returns. Like, okay, Charlotte Flair is Charlotte Flair again. But then Jacy kicks out faster than expected. And I mean faster. Not barely 3-count kick out. More like I refuse to even let that thought exist. And that's when Charlotte stops smiling, if she was even smiling at all. The atmosphere changes again. You can almost feel the "oh, okay" energy from the crowd. Now Charlotte starts getting more physical. Less finesse, more impact. The chops get heavier. The strikes get sharper. You can see her trying to re-establish authority in the match, not just win it. But Jacy keeps answering. Every time Charlotte builds momentum, Jacy finds a way to interrupt it. Not always clean. Not always pretty. But effective. And that's what makes this feel like it's slipping. Because clean wrestling has rules. Chaos doesn't. At one point, Charlotte goes for natural selection setup, but Jacy counters mid-transition and both women hit the mat in a messy crash that makes the crowd audibly react like, "Oh, that wasn't supposed to look like that." And now we're fully in that zone where nobody's sure if this is storytelling intensity or real breakdown energy. Charlotte sits up first. Jacy sits up second. And there's this stare. Not dramatic like in promos. Not scripted. Just that real "I'm not backing down" silence. And honestly, that stare probably says more than anything else in the match. The referee starts getting more involved, trying to keep things moving cleanly, but the pacing is gone now. Every exchange feels slightly more aggressive than the last one. Even the rope breaks feel tight. And then it happens, the moment everything fully tips. A miscommunication in positioning leads to a collision near the ropes, and suddenly both women spill into a scramble that doesn't look rehearsed. The crowd reacts instantly because you can feel the difference between planned chaos and real scramble energy. Charlotte tries to reset again, but Jacy is already back on her. And this is where things fully break down. Strikes start coming faster. Reversals start happening without pause. It stops feeling like sequences and starts feeling like reactions. Charlotte throws a big shot, Jacy fires back immediately. Jacy goes for control, Charlotte powers out. No breathing room. No pause. Just escalation. At this point, fans are no longer watching a match structure. They're watching survival. And somewhere in that chaos, you get the sense that both women are no longer thinking about pacing. They're thinking about not getting outdone. Charlotte goes for a big finishing setup again, this time Jacy counters and sends her into the corner hard. Charlotte rebounds out and the impact looks heavier than expected, and the crowd reacts like the match just hit its breaking point. And maybe it did. Because from there, everything collapses into pure unpredictability. They spill into a final exchange that feels almost too fast to follow. The referee tries to stay close, but even he looks like he's just reacting now instead of guiding. And then the ending comes in that messy, sudden way that doesn't give you time to breathe. No slow build-up. No clean final pose. Just impact, chaos, and a finish that leaves people immediately looking at each other like, wait, that's it? And that's why this match sticks. Because it didn't just feel like Charlotte Flair versus Jacy Jayne. It felt like something got away from the usual structure WWE matches rely on. Now listen, you might be sitting there thinking, was this planned chaos or...